Today, we're diving deep into what it takes to build the digital heart of a modern hotel, the revenue engine.
Now, before we jump in, I want to give a special welcome to all the students from Europe Hotel School joining us. We've really designed this session with you in mind to help support you on your professional journey in this incredible, dynamic world of hospitality.
So, here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll tackle the brain of the operation. Then, we'll get into your commercial toolkit. After that, we're going to talk about protecting your digital assets, navigating licensing and compliance, which is super important, and we'll wrap up by looking at what it all means to be a modern revenue leader.
All right, let's kick things off by really shifting our perspective. I want you to think beyond just the physical office, the desks and computers. We're going to focus on the powerful software that is the real driver of a hotel's success.
So what's really crucial to get here is that we're not just buying stuff. We're sourcing the intellectual assets, the brains, really, that form the core of the hotel's entire commercial strategy. And this isn't just an IT task, not at all. Think of it as a strategic partnership. You've got the revenue manager on one side, figuring out what the business needs, and the IT director on the other, making sure it all runs smoothly and, just as importantly, securely. Getting this right from day one, it's absolutely critical.
Okay, so once we have that strategic foundation in place, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to look at the specific software licenses a commercial team needs. And we're not just talking about keeping up, we're talking about the tools that will give you a real, significant edge over the competition.
So I want you to think about this for a second. Pretty much every hotel has a property management system, a PMS, right? That's table stakes. But what are the tools that give you that true competitive advantage? The ones that let you see the market with crystal clarity and react faster than anyone else? Well, that's exactly what we're about to unpack. First up, the absolute powerhouse of the toolkit, the Revenue Management System, or RMS. Seriously, this thing is the central brain of your whole commercial operation. It's constantly crunching data, 24/7, to figure out the perfect price at the perfect time. It's all about maximizing your revenue potential, literally around the clock.
But here's the thing. When you're getting an RMS, it's not as simple as just buying the software off the shelf. The licensing details are so important. You've got to check. Does everyone who needs access have it? We're talking the revenue manager, the director of sales, even the GM. Do you have all the modules you need, like say for group pricing? And maybe the most important question of all, will it actually integrate seamlessly with your PMS and CRS? You have to get that right.
All right, next up in our toolkit, business intelligence, or BI tools. Now, if the RMS is the brain doing all the heavy lifting and calculations, then think of BI tools as the eyes. They let you see the data. These platforms are absolutely essential for tracking your high-level strategy. This is especially true during a pre-opening phase when you're watching everything like a hawk. We're talking about dynamic pace reports and channel contribution dashboards, all updated in real time.
And to really round out this toolkit, you absolutely need a rate shopper. Now, this isn't something you buy once and forget about. No, it's an active subscription. It basically becomes your eyes and ears out there in the market. It automatically goes out and scrapes your competitors' websites for their prices and what rooms they have available, and then it feeds all that critical intel right back into your RMS every single day.
Okay, so we've put together this amazing, powerful toolkit for driving revenue. That's fantastic, but that's only half the battle. Now we have to talk about defense. We need to build a fortress to protect these incredibly valuable digital assets.
And this is a question that every single one of you as a future hotel leader has to take incredibly seriously. Think about it. You're handling sensitive guest payment information, confidential business strategies. A data breach isn't just some IT problem. It's a catastrophic business failure. So the question is, how do we build that fortress?
Well, it really comes down to three foundational pillars. These are non-negotiable. First, you need enterprise-level antivirus and security software on every single device. Second, secure remote access. That means a VPN, and it absolutely has to have multi-factor authentication, or MFA. And third, you need a rock-solid beta backup and disaster recovery plan. Because if the worst does happen, you've got to be able to get everything back online.
And this really hammers home the importance of central management. You see, security can't be left up to individual employees. It just doesn't work. The IT director has to manage all of these licenses from one central hub. Why? So they can push out critical security updates to the entire network instantly, closing any security holes before a threat can get through.
Okay, let's switch gears to a topic that, I know, can sound a little dry. But trust me, getting this wrong can have absolutely disastrous consequences. We're talking about mastering the rules of the road, software licensing and compliance. And I'm not kidding. We're not talking about a simple slap on the wrist. If you get this wrong, you could be looking at massive legal fees and even a court order forcing you to shut down the very systems your hotel needs to operate. I mean, can you imagine? That's why getting the details right here is absolutely essential.
So how do you manage this? Well, one of the best tools is something called a user access matrix. It sounds complicated, but it's actually a really simple but powerful idea. It's basically a chart that lays out exactly who can get into which system and what they're allowed to do once they're in there. For example, your revenue manager needs to be able to make changes in the RMS, so they get read/write access. But maybe the general manager just needs to see reports, so they only get read-only access. See? This simple tool helps you maintain both security and your license compliance.
It's also really important to understand the two main ways you'll be buying software. There's the traditional on-premise model. That's where you pay a big one-time fee for the software and your own IT team manages it. The other, more modern way is cloud-based, often called SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service. That's a subscription model. You pay a monthly or annual fee. The big difference? It turns a huge upfront cost into a predictable, manageable operating expense. Plus, a huge bonus is that the vendor handles all the security updates, taking that weight off your shoulders.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. The tech, the security, the compliance. So for this last part, let's bring it all home. Let's talk about what all of this really means for you as a future leader in this amazing industry.
Because at the end of the day, mastering the process we've walked through, it's about so much more than just being good with computers. It's a powerful signal. It tells the world that you and your team are ready to operate at the very highest level of the industry. It shows you have strategic vision and a commitment to operational excellence.
And if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Having the skill to properly select and integrate these complex systems, that is the difference. That's what separates a standard reservations office that just, takes bookings from a truly dynamic, data-driven revenue organization that actively shapes its own destiny.
So, I'm going to leave you with one final thought to ponder. The technology exists. The strategies we've talked about are clear. So the real question is, for you, how are you going to use this knowledge? Are you just going to manage things, or are you going to innovate? How will you leverage technology not just to run a hotel, but to lead the entire industry into the future?